all things Liverpool, which is the selling point of the show as spoken by myself at the start. So there are a couple of things I want to cover with you. The first one, if we go to the official website, it has an interesting hodgepodge on the news page today. The first one is Darwin Núñez's birthday quiz. Can you get 9 out of 9? Then there's a thing called Tracker, the ins and outs of summer transfer so far. It's a slow news day. But yesterday, they put up a thing about 18 hours ago. So that is yesterday. It's a little tribute marking the fact Free Nat Phillips, the campaign I've been running for a number of years now, has finally borne fruit. And Nat Phillips, it says here, completes permanent transfer to West Bromwich Albion. We covered it last night in the transfer show, myself and Dave. But I think it warrants a little mention here today for a couple of reasons. There's quite a classy collage of Nat images here. Like I say, it's on the homepage. The biggest kind of story, really, the only story as such in recent of the recent ones. And it's quite a, I think, classy tribute to Nat. Liverpool FC can confirm defender Nathaniel Phillips has completed permanent transfer to West Bromwich Albion. The 28-year-old finalised his move to the Championship side on Monday to bring an end to his 9-year stay with the Reds. Phillips arrived at the club's academy set up in 2016 on the back of a trial and will go on to make 29 senior appearances. 29 senior appearances, 9 years. His debut came in January 2020 when he temporarily returned from a loan at Stuttgart to play in an FA Cup victory over Everton at Anfield before returning to Germany. The centre-back was then hugely important. He stepped up to play 20 times in the next campaign and helped Jurgen Klopp's injury-affected Liverpool secure third place and Champions League qualification. And that, my friends, is why we should all have warmth in our heart when we think of Nat Phillips. Because how can you not feel affectionate towards the lad who stepped in when we were absolutely decimated and did a job which contributed to us actually getting Champions League qualification in quite a dramatic way. It felt almost like a trophy win the way it worked out right down to the last day. Phillips was voted team's Standard Charter Player of the Month by supporters in the March of that year and scored his only goal for the club away at Burnley during the run-in. He then joined AFC Bournemouth on loan and was part of their successful push for promotion back to the Premier League. Further temporary stints at Celtic, Cardiff City, most recently Derby County followed. As Nat now embarks on a new chapter in his career, everyone at LFC would like to thank him for his efforts and wish him the very best for the future. Now, it compares and contrasts quite starkly, does it not, with the official stuff around Trent's departure. I just think it's interesting. And I'm not doing that just to bring that whole spectre up again. It's the way things should work, right? It's the way things should work. Although what shouldn't happen is that a player is kept around for so long. I don't believe that in the last certainly 2 or 3 years, he was thinking, well, if I just, keep my hand in here, maybe I could get my break into the first team. Nat Phillips isn't thinking that. He can't be. So it just feels a shame that nothing could have happened a bit sooner for him. But hopefully, with what is left of his career, he has a final time for himself. And it's nice to see that. Like I say, nothing really else of note on the official website. So let us go to Liverpool.com and see what their headline story is. Their headline story is Liverpool has found its Trent Alexander replacement, but it's not Frimpong or Bradley. And this is Matt Addison. I think I can guess where Matt's going to go with this, but let's just see. Starts off talking about Trent as a player, the criticism of his defense, the exaggeration of his contributions, lack of contributions in defense, and then the references to his long passing, his attack, the fact that he was, to quote Matt, a game changer in terms of both his passing range and how he dictated matches for Liverpool from deep. and also how the position was viewed, engaged generally. And this is all very true. Like, none of us can, deny the fact that we waxed lyrical about Trent as a sort of generational talent, as a transformative talent, as a lad who did a bit of reinvention of the wheel with what a right back could be. And that's very true. In his best season for Liverpool, he created 13 goals in the Premier League. For comparison, attacking Kevin De Bruyne averaged just under 12 per season in the top flight. Okay, that's interesting. So anyway, it goes on to talk about his move away, and without him, says Matt, Slot will have to come up with a slightly different plan, perhaps more so under Jurgen Klopp than the Dutchman. The Liverpool attacking setup centred around Alexander-Arnold, and here we get to it. He goes on to talk about Mo's contribution and Jeremy Frimpong and Connor Bradley, as the title told you, and he's saying that these are not going to be necessarily the solutions. Guess where the solution will be? Under Klopp, the mantra was often that a good high press was the best possible playmaker, but now Liverpool has a genuinely world-class number 10 amongst its ranks. Florian Wirtz can defend from the front too, of course, but he excels when put in front of a solid backline. And here's some interesting bits for when you want to be a pub bore that you can throw out here. Wirtz, and apparently we're supposed to say Wirtz, ranks in the 99th percentile for shot creating actions compared to other forwards in Europe's top 5 leagues, or the 93rd relative to attacking midfielders and wingers. The exact same numbers apply to progressive passes. And Matt goes on to say, whether it's through silky dribbling or clever sliding passes into a forward, Wirtz is very much a creative hub, and alongside Salah, whoever else plays in the final third for Liverpool will not be short of chances. And then, his final paragraph is, basically, we're not replacing like for like. That is clearly the thing. And Frimpong or Bradley do not have to become Trent Alexander-Arnold. The team will be different. As I said to Dave last night on the transfer show, it's a bit of a shocker, really, to me to see there are still some people who aren't incredibly bullish about next season, who are having a little bit of a cry about this, that, and the other at the drop of a hat. I mean, how can you not be excited to see what this team looks like with just that addition of one player? But we know today, don't we? And if anything happens during the show, I'll let you know. This seems to be the usual crack for me. There's something about to happen, but hasn't happened yet. And the thing that's about to happen is we're going to get Milos Kerkez's pictures and medical stuff and all that kind of crack today at some point. Whether it happens or not during the show, I doubt it, because it's kind of in the middle of lunch now, so we'll see. But interesting to think about how the team is a different team now. And who could not be excited by the prospect of Florian Wirtz doing bits in a team with Mo Salah and whoever up front? And, even like I said before, it's not going to happen because one of Darwin Núñez or Jota will leave. Both could leave. And Luis Diaz, who was, as I saw Dave Hendrick say somewhere recently, probably our most effective number 9 this season, may also leave. But if it's one of those, it's not going to be Darwin. But it is one of those that's around. With those two, with Salah one side and Wirtz the other, we're already better. And that's no denigration of anyone who's in the team last year when we won the freaking league. It's just simply a statement of fact. We have improved by a factor of something quite large when you add one of the most coveted players in the world to your team. We have already, as well as that, and Jeremy Frimpong and Milos Kerkez. And we are going to add a striker. There's too much going on by the way of striker talk for us not to do that. And there will be people who have a big cry for themselves if it's Hugo Ekitike, one of the most promising forwards in the continent. I struggle. I struggle with any negativity when we are where we are. I absolutely get that people would have preferences and rankings, and my preferences and rankings, I think, are very different to some others in that I would prefer Julian Alvarez. I think everyone else would prefer Isak. and both of them might be pipe dreams by the end of the day. But you know what's really interesting? You know what's really interesting is the one that everybody wants, the Alexander Isak one. It could happen. There's a possibility. And the reason it could happen is that the kid himself, the player, wants to come to Liverpool. And that's what you have to wrap your head around. We are massive, and people want to play for Liverpool. And there's something doing the rounds there today. It's an Eddie Gibbs article. I might get to it later on, where he's talking about how when Fernando Torres left, it had a sort of monumental impact on him because of how heartbroken he was about the player leaving. And from that point on, he sort of was a bit hardened to it and realized that, you know, players come and go, but the club is the club. That's the essential essence of the article. And I think Eddie's not alone there. I think an awful lot of people were hitting that exact same spot between the eyes by the departure of Fernando Torres, because he was part of a Liverpool side that was sort of riding the crest of a wave based on his brilliance, Steven Gerrard's brilliance, and the combination of two world-class talents nearly taking us to a league. Was it close? It felt like it at the time, but maybe it wasn't. But it felt like it at the time. There was a huge amount of tension, I'll tell you that. Halfway through that 08-09 season, it just felt it was unreal. It was kind of unnatural. There was a really kind of uneasy atmosphere in Anfield one day when there was a draw. You know, and I think the tension was so strong. We were so close to it. And then with the Klopp era, we just sort of bludgeoned our way back in a way that was so exciting. There's a topic I'll probably wait till tomorrow to talk about it. It's the concept of sentiment. And, you know, I'm going to try and get some details for you, but suffice it to say, there's a lot of changes happening around the club in terms of staff and everything else. I think the churn amongst the playing staff is going to be a lot higher than people thought. You know, everyone was doing their, well, we can't afford to change it too much, or there'll be 2 or 3. And this is even some people who really would have loved to see it were pessimistically saying it won't happen. Feels like it's going to happen. Feels like there could be, 8 to 10 changes. That's dramatic. But there's also a lot of changes going on behind the scenes as well. And it feels like there's this sort of disassembling of the Klopp era. I don't think that that's a bad thing necessarily, with all due respect. And I'd like to talk about that topic tomorrow because it will be quite divisive for some people, I'd imagine. So I'm going to try and get as much information as I can about what exactly the changes are. And I'll come back to you on that one.
Reds, it's Jack here, and that was a clip from one of Anfield Index's audio podcasts. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure you do like, share and subscribe to keep up to date on all things LFC. We record around 100 audio podcasts every month, with our shows featuring match-going fans, top journalists, professional analysts and even Liverpool legends along the way, with the Great Dane himself, Jan Molby, joining us every single week. If you want to listen to all our podcasts for free, head over to anfieldindex.com/podcasts. Our audio shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Anfield Index. Or if you prefer to listen to all our podcasts in full and without any ads, why not head over to AI Pro today to check it out now at AnfieldIndexPro.com. If you want to get involved in the great growing community of Liverpool fans, check out the Anfield Index Discord. The link is in the description. Do get involved with that from Reds around every corner of the globe. For now, Reds, hope you enjoyed this video.